Hello, everyone. I am Dr. Danielle Jones, and today I want to have a very real conversation with you, especially if you are over the age of 50. You see, as we age, our bodies start to respond differently to the foods we eat. What once felt fine in our 30s might now leave us feeling sluggish, bloated, or even in pain. More importantly, some everyday foods may be quietly working against your heart, your bones, your digestion, and even your brain. I'm not here to scare you. I am here to empower you. Because when you know which foods to avoid, you give your body the chance to feel better, move better, and stay sharper, no matter your age. In this video, I'm going to walk you through 10 common foods that adults over 50 should limit or avoid completely. Some of these may surprise you. They are the kinds of items you might reach for every day without a second thought. But trust me, once you understand what they are doing inside your body, you will see why cutting back could be one of the best health decisions you ever make. So let's begin this journey to clearer, stronger, more energized living. Part 1. Flavored yogurt, a sweet trap in disguise. Let's start with something that many people believe is a health food, flavored yogurt. I know what you might be thinking. Yogurt has calcium. It has probiotics. It is creamy and satisfying. So how could it possibly be bad for you? Here's the truth. Most flavored yogurts you see on grocery store shelves are packed with sugar. Some even contain more sugar per serving than a candy bar. And that sugar doesn't just affect your waistline. It can trigger inflammation throughout your body, disrupt your gut health, and lead to blood sugar spikes, especially if you're over 50 and your metabolism is starting to slow down. Let me break it down. After 50, our bodies become more sensitive to sugar. The pancreas doesn't produce insulin as efficiently. That means every spoonful of added sugar has a bigger impact on your blood glucose. Over time, this contributes to fatigue, brain fog, insulin resistance, and an increased risk of type 2 diabetes. Flavored yogurts also often contain artificial sweeteners or preservatives to extend shelf life. These additives can irritate the gut lining and harm the balance of healthy bacteria in your digestive system, something that becomes even more important as we age. A healthy gut supports your immune system, your energy, and even your mood. Now let's talk about the illusion of health. The front of a yogurt container might say things like low fat, high protein, or with added fruit, but flip it around and read the label. Many popular brands contain between 15 to 25 grams of added sugar in just one small serving. That is almost an entire day's worth of sugar in a food marketed as healthy. Some yogurts also use fruit syrups, not real fruit. That means even more sugar and fewer nutrients. It may taste like strawberry or peach. But most of what you're tasting is refined sugar and artificial flavoring. So what's the better option? If you enjoy yogurt, choose plain, unsweetened varieties. Greek yogurt is especially good because it is higher in protein and lower in natural sugar. Then, if you want a little sweetness, add your own fresh fruit like blueberries or a few slices of banana. You'll get real fiber, vitamins, and antioxidants without the sugar bomb. You can also sprinkle in some cinnamon, chopped nuts, or flax seeds for added texture and health benefits. It's a simple shift, but it can have a powerful effect on your blood sugar, your digestion, and your energy levels. It's important to remember that food companies know how to sell to us. They use labels and bright packaging to make their products look healthier than they are. But once you learn to read between the lines, you take your power back. And when it comes to flavored yogurt, it's better to skip the sweet trap and choose something that truly supports your health and longevity. Part 2. White bread, the everyday staple that drains your energy. Let's talk about a food that most people keep in their kitchen without a second thought. White bread. It is soft, it is familiar, and it is everywhere. Toast in the morning, sandwiches at lunch, a side with dinner. But here's the problem. White bread offers very little nutrition and can actually cause a rapid decline in how you feel, especially as you get older. White bread is made from refined flour. That means the wheat has been stripped of its bran and germ, removing most of the fiber, vitamins, and minerals in the process. What you are left with is starch. Plain processed starch that your body digests almost as fast as sugar. And what happens when your body digests something that quickly? Your blood sugar rises fast, and that causes a spike in insulin. Shortly after that, your energy crashes. You may feel tired, hungry again, or even irritable just an hour or two after eating. If this cycle continues day after day, it becomes harder for your body to manage blood sugar. That puts stress on your pancreas and increases your risk of insulin resistance and type 2 diabetes. Now think about your brain. The brain is very sensitive to blood sugar changes. After 50, many people begin to notice forgetfulness or slower thinking. Eating high glycemic foods like white bread makes it worse. Studies show that refined carbs are linked to mental fatigue and a greater risk of cognitive decline in older adults. That's not all. White bread also causes inflammation. When blood sugar rises quickly, it triggers a cascade of inflammatory responses in your body. This can aggravate arthritis, joint pain, heart disease, and even impact your skin. And inflammation, as you've probably heard before, is at the root of nearly every chronic condition we face as we age. Let's not forget digestion. Because white bread has almost no fiber, it moves quickly through the digestive system. That can lead to constipation or irregularity. And when your digestion is off, everything feels a little off, from your energy to your mood to your sleep. So what should you do instead? Choose whole grain or sprouted grain breads. These types are higher in fiber, protein, and essential nutrients. They are digested more slowly, which keeps your blood sugar stable, helps you stay full longer, and supports better digestion. Look at the ingredient list. The first ingredient should be whole wheat or whole grain. Avoid anything labeled enriched flour or wheat flour without the word whole in front of it. That is just another way of saying refined. And don't be fooled by color. Some breads look brown but are still made with white flour and caramel coloring. Always read the label. If you want to take it a step further, consider alternatives like rye, oats, or almond flour-based breads. These offer different textures and flavors, and they are easier on your metabolism. At this stage in life, small changes make a big difference. Swapping white bread for something more nourishing might feel minor, but over time, it can support steadier energy, clearer thinking, better digestion, and reduced inflammation. That is not just better nutrition, that is better quality of life. Part 3. Diet sodas, the zero-calorie drink that comes at a cost. I want to talk to you now about something that might be sitting in your refrigerator right now. Diet soda. It is marketed as the healthier alternative. 0 calories, no sugar, guilt-free. But the truth behind diet soda is far from simple. And for those of us over 50, the impact can be even more serious than most people realize. Let's start with the artificial sweeteners. Most diet sodas use chemicals like aspartame, sucralose, or saccharin to create that sweet flavor without any actual sugar. The problem? Your brain and your body can still react to them as if they are sugar. Studies show that artificial sweeteners may confuse your brain's appetite signals. When your taste buds experience sweetness without calories, your body starts craving more. That can lead to increased hunger, overeating, and ironically, weight gain, the exact opposite of what diet soda promises. Now let's talk about metabolism. After the age of 50, our metabolism naturally slows down. That means we have to be even more aware of what we put into our bodies. artificial sweeteners can disrupt insulin response and affect how your body processes glucose. Over time, this can increase the risk of insulin resistance and type 2 diabetes, even though the drink has no sugar. But that is not all. Diet sodas also affect gut health. The chemicals in these drinks can alter the balance of bacteria in your digestive system. And when your gut is out of balance, it affects everything: digestion, immune function, mood, and even how well you sleep. Speaking of mood, artificial sweeteners have also been linked to changes in brain chemistry. Some studies suggest they may contribute to anxiety, headaches, or even low mood in sensitive individuals. And after 50, your brain health becomes even more important. Let's not forget about bone health. Diet sodas, especially those that contain phosphoric acid, can interfere with calcium absorption. That is a big concern for anyone over 50, especially women. Weak bones, brittle nails, and increased risk of fractures are all made worse when calcium levels are compromised, and soda can quietly accelerate that process. So what can you drink instead? Start by increasing your water intake. If you miss the fizz, try sparkling water with a squeeze of lemon or a splash of real fruit juice. Herbal teas, cold-infused water with cucumber or mint, and even unsweetened iced tea can give you flavor without the risks. And if you're transitioning off diet soda, be patient with yourself. It may take a little time for your taste buds and cravings to adjust, but your body will thank you. Within a few weeks, you may notice better digestion, more stable moods, and clearer thinking. The promise of diet soda is tempting, but the long-term cost, especially to your metabolism, your bones, your gut, and your brain, is far too high. You deserve better. Part 4. Canned soups. Comforting. Yes, but hidden dangers lurk inside. Canned soup is something many of us grew up with. It is warm, easy to prepare, and often feels like comfort in a bowl, especially on colder days or when you are feeling under the weather. But here's the thing. As comforting as canned soup may seem, it can hide ingredients that quietly work against your health. Let's talk about sodium. One of the biggest concerns with canned soup is the incredibly high sodium content. A single serving often contains 800 to 1,000 milligrams of sodium, and some cans contain more than one serving. That means you could be eating well over your daily recommended sodium intake in just one sitting. Why does this matter? After 50, your body becomes more sensitive to sodium. High sodium intake raises blood pressure. That puts more strain on your heart and kidneys. It increases your risk of stroke, heart disease, and can lead to swelling in the legs and feet due to fluid retention. If you have ever felt bloated, stiff, or tired after a bowl of canned soup, sodium might be the reason. But sodium is not the only issue. Many canned soups also contain preservatives and flavor enhancers like monosodium glutamate, often labeled as MSG. While not everyone reacts negatively to MSG, some people experience headaches, flushing, or a sense of pressure after eating foods with this additive. Over time, these ingredients may disrupt your body's natural balance. Another concern is the quality of ingredients. Canned soups often contain low-quality meats, overly processed starches, and very few real vegetables. What might look like chicken or beef may be filler blends, and what feels like a vegetable medley is often overcooked and lacking in nutrients. Let's not forget about the packaging. Most canned foods are lined with a substance called BPA, a chemical linked to hormonal imbalances, heart disease, and even certain types of cancer. And while some brands are now using BPA-free linings, many are not. The longer the soup sits in the can, the greater the risk of chemical leaching into the food. So what can you do? You do not have to give up the warmth and convenience of soup. You just have to upgrade how you enjoy it. Start by reading the label. Look for soups labeled low sodium or no salt added. Check the ingredient list. The fewer ingredients, the better. If you see names you do not recognize or numbers that sound like chemicals, it is time to put that can back on the shelf. Better yet, consider making your own soup. You can batch cook a big pot of vegetable, chicken, or lentil soup using fresh ingredients, herbs, and spices. Store it in small containers in the freezer so you always have a healthy option ready to go. Use a good quality broth. Load it with fiber-rich vegetables and season it yourself so you can control the sodium. That way, you get all the comfort, with none of the hidden harm. Remember, as you get older, every choice counts a little more. Your body becomes more sensitive, but that also means small improvements go a long way. And swapping canned soup for a cleaner, homemade version is one of the simplest ways to nourish your heart, protect your kidneys, and feel more energized after every meal. Part 5. Microwave popcorn, a snack full of surprises. You did not ask for microwave popcorn. It is quick, tasty, and feels like the perfect companion for movie night. But behind the buttery flavor and the crunchy texture lies a mix of chemicals and hidden ingredients that can quietly damage your health, particularly if you are over 50. Let me explain what is really going on inside that little paper bag. The first concern is the packaging. Most microwave popcorn bags are lined with a chemical called perfluorooctanoic acid, often shortened to PFOA. This compound is used to keep oil from seeping through the bag, but when heated, it can leach into the popcorn. PFOA has been linked to thyroid issues, hormonal imbalance, and even some types of cancer. Now let's talk about the artificial butter flavoring. Some microwave popcorn brands use a chemical called diacetyl to create that rich, buttery taste. Inhaling diacetyl fumes from freshly popped bags has been associated with a serious condition known as popcorn lung, a form of lung damage that makes breathing difficult and irreversible in some cases. While this is more common in factory settings where the chemical is used in large amounts, it is still a concern worth knowing about, especially if you pop several bags a week or sit near the steam when opening the bag. But even beyond packaging and chemicals, we have to consider the actual ingredients. Many microwave popcorn brands use hydrogenated oils, a source of trans fats. Trans fats raise your bad cholesterol, lower your good cholesterol, and significantly increase your risk of heart disease. After 50, your cardiovascular system becomes more sensitive to these changes, making trans fats especially dangerous. And let's not forget the salt. A single bag can contain up to 500 milligrams of sodium or more, depending on the brand. Combine that with the sodium you are already getting from other meals throughout the day, and suddenly your blood pressure is higher than you expected. Now you might be wondering, does this mean I can never eat popcorn again? Not at all. But it does mean you should choose a cleaner, safer version. Here is what I recommend. Buy plain popcorn kernels and pop them at home in an air popper or on the stove, using a small amount of avocado oil or olive oil. Sprinkle a little sea salt or your favorite seasoning. If you like cheesy flavor, try nutritional yeast. It gives a satisfying taste without the chemicals. This version is high in fiber, low in calories, and free from artificial coatings or packaging risks. Plus, you control every ingredient. Popcorn can still be part of a healthy lifestyle. It is not the corn that is the problem. It is what is added during processing that changes everything. So the next time you are planning a cozy night with a good movie, skip the bag and go back to basics. Your heart, your hormones, and your lungs will all thank you. Part 6. Frozen dinners. Convenience with a hidden cost. Let's be honest, frozen dinners can be a lifesaver. On a busy night, pulling something out of the freezer, heating it up in minutes, and calling it dinner feels like a win. But when it comes to long-term health, especially after the age of 50, those quick meals can quietly take a toll. Here's why. Most frozen dinners are high in sodium. That's because salt is used as a preservative and a flavor enhancer. A single frozen meal can contain anywhere from 800 to 1,500 milligrams of sodium, sometimes even more. And if you are eating these meals regularly, it adds up quickly. Too much sodium raises blood pressure, increases the risk of heart disease and stroke, and puts added stress on your kidneys. For adults over 50, whose bodies are more sensitive to salt, this can be especially harmful. But it is not just the sodium. Many frozen dinners are low in fiber and high in refined carbohydrates. That means after eating them, your blood sugar rises quickly, then crashes. You feel tired, hungry again too soon, and less stable in your energy. Over time, this roller coaster effect can lead to insulin resistance and weight gain, two things we want to avoid as we age. Then there's the issue of trans fats and preservatives. Some frozen meals contain hydrogenated oils or artificial ingredients that can inflame your body from the inside out. These substances may affect your joints, your digestion, your skin, and even your memory. And while labels have improved, not every brand has cleaned up its recipes. Let's also consider the portion sizes. What looks like a full meal on the outside often turns out to be small and unbalanced. There's often too much pasta, not enough vegetables, and a tiny amount of protein. That combination leaves you feeling unsatisfied and craving more food shortly after. So what is the better option? If you still want the convenience of frozen meals, look for brands that use whole ingredients, low sodium, no artificial preservatives, and balanced portions. The ingredient list should look like something you could make in your own kitchen. Even better, try meal prepping at home. Cook a batch of brown rice, roast some vegetables, and prepare a lean protein like chicken or beans. Then divide it into containers and freeze them. Now you have homemade frozen dinners that are better for your heart, your blood sugar, and your digestion. If cooking feels like too much, even a simple soup made from lentils or chopped vegetables can be made ahead and frozen. That way, you stay in control of what goes into your body, even on your busiest days. Convenience is important, but it should never come at the cost of your health. With just a little planning, you can have meals that are fast, nourishing, and protective of your well-being as you age. Part 7. Granola bars. The health snack that might not be healthy at all, granola bars. They are small, convenient, and marketed as a smart snack choice. Words like natural and energy and protein are printed across the packaging. But if you are over 50 and trying to protect your heart, stabilize your blood sugar, or manage your weight, granola bars may not be doing you any favors. Here's why. Most commercial granola bars are filled with added sugars. They may come in the form of cane sugar, brown rice syrup, honey, or even dried fruit concentrates. All of these raise your blood sugar quickly, and because they are compact and often low in fiber, your body digests them fast. That gives you a quick energy burst, followed by a crash. After 50, those crashes can be harder to recover from. Your metabolism has changed. You are more sensitive to insulin, and those rapid shifts in glucose can make you feel tired, foggy, or moody. And they may even lead to long-term blood sugar problems if they happen often. Another issue with granola bars is the fat content. Many brands use vegetable oils that are high in omega-6 fatty acids. In small amounts, omega-6 is not a problem, but when it becomes dominant in your diet, it throws off your body's balance of healthy fats and can promote inflammation. That's especially concerning for joint health, heart health, and even cognitive function in older adults. And let's not forget about the additives, preservatives, soy protein isolates, and artificial flavors are often added to give the bars shelf life and a uniform texture. But these extra ingredients do not do your gut or immune system any favors. In fact, they may disrupt digestion or even trigger sensitivities in some people. So what can you do? First, start reading the ingredient list. A good granola bar should have fewer than 10 ingredients, and you should recognize every one of them. Look for whole foods like oats, nuts, seeds, and natural sweeteners like dates, or a small amount of maple syrup. Focus on bars that have at least 3 grams of fiber and 5 grams of protein. That combination slows down digestion and helps keep your energy steady. Or better yet, make your own at home. You can mix rolled oats, almond butter, chia seeds, and chopped nuts with a touch of cinnamon. Press it into a pan, refrigerate, and cut into bars. Now you have a real energy snack with no mystery ingredients. The truth is, not every granola bar is bad, but many are just candy bars in disguise. They are wrapped in healthy language, but they work against your energy, your blood sugar, and your long-term health. After 50, your body deserves better. And when you choose snacks that nourish instead of spike and crash, you feel stronger, clearer, and more in control of your day. Part 8. Sugary cereals. A sweet start that sends you downhill fast. Let's talk about breakfast. For many people, a bowl of cereal is how they start the day. It is fast, easy, and feels like a tradition. But if that cereal is packed with sugar, and most of them are, then what you think is fueling your morning may actually be setting you up for a crash. Most sugary cereals are made with refined grains. That means the bran and germ have been removed, leaving behind only fast-digesting starch. Then manufacturers add sugar, sometimes 2, 3, or even 4 types, to make it taste better. What you end up with is a bowl of processed carbs coated in sweeteners. Now think about what happens when you eat that. Within minutes, your blood sugar spikes. Your pancreas kicks in and releases insulin to bring it back down. But the rise is so fast that the crash comes just as quickly. 1 or 2 hours later, you feel tired, hungry again, and looking for another quick fix. This cycle, repeated daily, wears out your insulin response. It increases your risk of developing type 2 diabetes. And after 50, your body becomes less forgiving. Blood sugar spikes are harder to recover from, and their effects on your mood, your energy, and your focus become more noticeable. Now let's talk about what else is in those cereals. Many popular brands add food dyes, artificial flavors, and preservatives. These additives do nothing for your health. In fact, some of them have been linked to behavior changes, allergic responses, and even inflammation. And again, the impact becomes greater as your body ages and becomes more sensitive to chemical exposure. You may also be surprised to learn that some healthy cereals are not as healthy as they look. They may be labeled as whole grain or high fiber, but still contain 10 grams or more of added sugar per serving. If the second or third ingredient on the label is sugar, corn syrup, or fruit concentrate, that cereal is not doing you any favors. So what should you eat instead? Choose unsweetened cereals made with whole grains. Look for options with at least 4 grams of fiber and no more than 5 grams of sugar per serving. Add fresh fruit like berries or banana slices if you want natural sweetness. You can also try alternatives like steel-cut oats, chia pudding, or even plain Greek yogurt topped with seeds and cinnamon. These choices offer long-lasting energy, better digestion, and a much smoother start to your day. And remember, breakfast sets the tone for everything that follows. If you begin your day with a sugar rush, your energy and focus will be unstable. But if you fuel your body with something steady and nourishing, you give yourself the gift of clarity, strength, and emotional balance. So let go of the cartoon-covered boxes and empty sweetness. Your mornings, bikini, and your health deserve more. Part 9. Fried fast food. Crispy on the outside, dangerous on the inside. Now let's talk about fried fast food. Whether it is a quick stop at the drive-thru or a crispy treat on the weekend, fried food holds a special place in many people's routines. It is hot, crunchy, and comforting. But what you may not realize is how much damage it can do, especially once you are over 50. Here's what happens when food is fried. Most fast food is cooked in vegetable oils that have been reused over and over again. These oils break down under high heat and form harmful compounds called trans fats. Trans fats raise your bad cholesterol, lower your good cholesterol, and increase inflammation in your arteries. This is a direct path to heart disease, which already becomes a greater risk as we age. And that is just the beginning. Fried foods are extremely high in calories but low in fiber and nutrients. That means you feel full temporarily, but you are not giving your body anything it actually needs. Over time, this leads to weight gain, poor digestion, and even fatigue, since your body has to work overtime to process all that fat. Let's talk about the gut. When you eat fried food, the heavy oils slow down digestion. You may feel bloated, sluggish, or even nauseous afterward. And if you eat fried foods regularly, this stress on your digestive system can lead to more serious issues like acid reflux, constipation, and nutrient malabsorption. And then there's the brain. Fried food has been linked to cognitive decline. Studies suggest that a diet high in fried foods may increase the risk of memory loss and reduce brain function as you age. The inflammation caused by these foods doesn't stay in your stomach. It reaches your brain, your joints, and your bloodstream. So what about emotional well-being? Many people turn to fried foods during stress. It feels good in the moment, but the post-meal crash combined with inflammation can actually worsen anxiety, mood swings, and fatigue. For older adults who are already navigating hormonal changes and emotional shifts, this effect is magnified. But here's the good news. You do not have to give up the flavor you love. You just need to shift how it is prepared. Try oven baking or air frying at home. You can coat chicken, potatoes, or vegetables with olive oil, herbs, and spices, then bake until crispy. You still get the texture and satisfaction without the chemical compounds and heavy grease. If you eat out, look for grilled or roasted options instead of fried. Many restaurants offer alternatives, but you need to ask. Even these small swaps make a big difference over time. Fried fast food might seem harmless now and then, but the truth is, it builds up. One meal turns into many, and before you know it, your energy drops, your digestion struggles, and your heart starts sending warning signs. And you do not have to wait for those signs to show up. You can take control now, one meal at a time. Part 10. Store-bought ice cream, a sweet indulgence that may sour your health. Let's talk about something many people love, ice cream. It is cold, creamy, comforting, and often tied to joyful memories. But when it comes to your health, especially after 50, regular indulgence in store-bought ice cream might be doing more damage than you think. Here is why. Store-bought ice cream is typically packed with sugar. One serving, which is often much smaller than what most people eat, can contain 20 to 30 grams of sugar or more. And that sugar rush does not just affect your waistline. It impacts your blood sugar, your mood, your joints, and your long-term risk for conditions like type 2 diabetes. The older we get, the harder it is for our bodies to manage high amounts of sugar. Insulin resistance becomes more common, and sugar is processed more slowly. That means every scoop lingers longer in your system, raising inflammation, stressing your pancreas, and fueling weight gain, especially around the belly area. But sugar is not the only issue. Many commercial ice creams also contain unhealthy fats, particularly saturated fat from dairy cream. While not all saturated fats are harmful, too much can raise your LDL cholesterol and increase your risk of heart disease. This becomes even more critical after 50, when heart health becomes a top priority. There is also the problem of additives. To achieve that smooth texture and long shelf life, many ice cream brands add emulsifiers, artificial flavors, stabilizers, and even food dyes. These chemicals do not offer any nutritional value and may cause inflammation or digestive discomfort in sensitive individuals. Have you ever felt bloated or sluggish after eating ice cream? That is not just from the cold. It is your body reacting to a heavy mix of sugar, fat, and artificial ingredients all at once. So, what can you do if you still love a frozen treat now and then? First, pay attention to labels. Look for brands with fewer ingredients, ideally under 10, and ones you can recognize. Choose ice creams that are lower in sugar, made with natural ingredients, and free from artificial additives. Some brands now use coconut milk, almond milk, or oat milk as a base, which can be easier to digest. You can also try making your own at home. It is easier than you think. Blend frozen bananas with a splash of almond milk and a spoon of nut butter or cocoa powder. In just minutes, you have a creamy, naturally sweet treat with no added sugar or mystery chemicals. If you want something cool after dinner, you can also freeze grapes, blend berries into a sorbet, or enjoy plain Greek yogurt with cinnamon and a few crushed nuts. All of these options are kind to your blood sugar and still satisfy that sweet craving. Remember, it is not about giving up everything you love. It is about upgrading how you enjoy it. A little planning, a few smart swaps, and suddenly you are nourishing your body while still treating yourself with kindness. Ice cream is sweet, but so is waking up with more energy, clearer thinking, and a heart that beats strong and steady. If you have stayed with me through all 10 parts, I want to thank you. It means you care deeply about your health, and that matters more now than ever before. The truth is, as we age, our bodies speak to us more clearly. We feel things sooner, we recover a little slower, and what we eat makes a bigger difference. The foods we have talked about today may seem small on their own, but when they show up daily in your diet, they add up. Sugary cereals, frozen dinners, fried food, flavored yogurt. These are more than just meals or snacks. They shape how your heart beats, how your brain works, how your joints feel, and how energized or tired you are each day. But here is the good news. You do not need to be perfect. You just need to be aware. And every smart swap you make, every label you read, every processed food you replace with a whole one is a powerful step toward a longer, stronger, more vibrant life. If you found this video helpful, please give it a like and let me know in the comments which food surprised you most. And don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss a tip that could change your health for the better. Stay informed, stay well, and I will see you in the next video.